All right, let's dive in. Today, we're talking about something every business has to get right, building a marketing plan that actually works. I mean, especially in the world we live in today, right? It's a challenge that can seriously make or break even the most brilliant ideas. So, picture this. You've got it. That game-changing product, that revolutionary service. The idea feels like a guaranteed home run. But here's the thing. An idea alone doesn't build an empire, does it? The real challenge is figuring out how to turn that spark of genius into actual success in the marketplace. So the big question is, now what? Where do you even begin? Well, for decades, the answer was pretty straightforward. You'd start with a classic, time-tested approach. You can almost think of it as the traditional blueprint for marketing. Super structured, very logical. It was the foundation of business school for years and years. Yeah, this classic marketing plan is a lot like an architect's blueprint for a house. But it's a house being built in a very predictable neighborhood. You know the land, you know the weather, and you can map out every single nail and board before you even break ground. It's a rational, step-by-step guide. And this is what that blueprint usually looks like, a simple 4-stage process. First up, you conduct a situation analysis. Basically, get the lay of the land. Then you analyze the target market to figure out exactly who you're selling to. After that, you set marketing objectives to define what winning looks like. And finally, you implement and control. You execute the plan and make sure you're not veering off course. So that first step, the situation analysis, is really your reality check. You're just digging into all the data to get a clear picture of your own company and the world it lives in. This means looking at those big external forces, political, economic, social, all that stuff. And then you turn the microscope inward to find your own strengths, your weaknesses, and figure out what's out there that you can either jump on or have to defend against. A simple tool like a SWOT analysis makes this whole thing really concrete. Just look at this example for a new sustainable coffee brand. A key strength is its ethically sourced beans, right? Awesome. A huge weakness, though, nobody knows who they are yet. But a massive opportunity is that growing demand for sustainable stuff. And the threat? Well, that's always there. Giant coffee chains, wild swings in bean prices. See how this starts to map everything out? So once you know the landscape, you set your objectives. But they can't just be vague wishes. They've got to be smart. And this discipline is so important because you're not just saying, oh, we want to grow. No, you're defining a clear target, something like, we will capture 10% of the premium coffee market in the next 18 months. Now that's a goal everyone on the team can rally behind. This all sounds perfect, doesn't it? It's so logical. But what happens when the ground starts to shift right under your feet? What happens when that perfectly detailed blueprint you spent months on is for a world that just doesn't exist anymore? See, the classic blueprint was designed for stable markets, where things move slowly and you could pretty much predict what was coming next. But that's not our world. Today, we're all playing in dynamic markets. Trends can disappear overnight. Some new technology comes along and rewrites all the rules, and your biggest competitor might be a company that literally didn't exist 6 months ago. In this kind of world, a rigid plan isn't a guide, it's a cage. And this new reality, this chaos, has forced marketers to start thinking in totally different ways, to find strategies that actually embrace all that uncertainty instead of just trying to plan it away. So for instance, you have to ask, should you try to fit into the market or should you stretch it? The fit approach is all about finding your perfect little niche in the world as it currently exists. But the stretch approach? That's way bolder. It's about saying, hey, let's use our unique superpowers to create a brand new market. I mean, think about Apple. They didn't just fit into the phone market. They stretched reality itself and basically created the smartphone market we all live in today. So this creates a real tension, right? How do you balance having a solid, data-driven plan with the kind of flexibility you need to navigate all this chaos? Well, a lot of people are finding the answer in a methodology that acts like a bridge between those two worlds. And that bridge is called design thinking. What's so powerful about it is where it starts. It completely flips the script. Instead of kicking off with market analysis and a bunch of spreadsheets, it begins with people. It starts with empathy, with a deep, human-centered focus on what your customers really need, even if they can't quite tell you what that is yet. The process itself is this 5-step journey. You begin with empathize, where you really try to get inside your user's world. Then you define their core problem based on what you learned. From there, you ideate,
And that means brainstorming a ton of solutions. No bad ideas. Then you build a quick and dirty prototype to make one of those ideas real. And finally, you test it with actual users to see what happens.
But here's the absolute most important part to get. This is not a straight line from 1 to 5. It's a continuous loop of learning. What you discover from your tests that feeds right back into your understanding, helping you define the problem better and come up with even smarter ideas. You learn by doing, and you do it fast and cheap.
Okay, so this brings us full circle. The modern playbook isn't about throwing out the old blueprint or only using this new approach. It's about intelligently weaving them together. And this leads us to a much better metaphor for modern marketing. You still need that blueprint. You need the data, the analysis, the SMART goals, but you have to pair it with a compass. The blueprint helps you map the territory you already know, while the compass, that's your human-centered, iterative design thinking process, gives you a true north to guide you when you step into the unknown. In this kind of integrated approach, your plan becomes a living, breathing document. You're using data not just to prove what you already think, but to find totally new directions. You're using empathy to understand the why behind the what in your data. You prototype ideas to take big swings in small, safe ways, so you learn incredibly fast without betting the farm. It's really the perfect balance of disciplined planning and creative agility. And that really leaves us with one last crucial question to think about. As you look at your next big project or your company's strategy, just ask yourself, are you just building a static blueprint? Or are you also giving your team a compass to navigate all the surprises that you know are just around the corner?